Hi, everyone. You are welcome back to another week on She Strong podcast. I am your host. My name is Courage, and it's been a while. We've been on camera, so I'm really excited, and I've been looking forward to doing this particular episode. And I am not alone today. Yay! I have the lovely Nita Mondia here with me. Nita, thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm excited.
And she looks so pretty. Wait.
I was instructed to wear pink,
yes,
so I'm obeying.
I was just like feeling like I want to do something new with the podcast, like just do something a little bit girly, but then also like just something we can have fun with. So and you look beautiful. Like you showed up, you're ready,
and you look amazing too.
Oh, thank you,
beautiful woman.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited, and I'm glad that you said yes to coming and sharing with the family today. So would you just mind telling us a little bit about yourself? Who is Nita? What does Nita do? Like everything, whatever you feel free, like just say it out there.
Ooh, I mean, gosh, trying to say who I am and what I do is just like, we'll need another podcast.
I know, right? But that's such a hard question, actually.
It is. Because I think human beings are so multifaceted. And so I think every season of my life, I've done something different. The past season has been creating journals, which I have loved. And obviously you can see them here.
Yeah.
But I think for me, my greatest joy is that I am a mommy to two beautiful girls. And
I know them. They're so pretty.
Yes, they are. And I love them to bits. And I am a wife too. And I think for me, I find just I find myself in my home positioned, and that's where I am first. Everything else flows from that place of peace and flows from that place of motherhood, and because that's what God has called me right now to do. So that's what I do. I have been a stay-at-home parent for the longest time, being in Dubai. It wasn't planned. So that's another story for another day. But I found myself there, and God has been so graciously leading me along. But I have been a musician, and that's what I used to do for a living before.
Vocal coach, right?
Yeah, vocal coach, and also in the music industry in Kenya. So that's what I used to do before I moved to Dubai. And going back into it, actually going into music school in 1 month's time.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
To do a master's in composition. I'm so excited about it.
Let's go. That's very inspiring.
Yes.
And let me just ask you, like, how long have you guys been in Dubai, like, officially?
Yeah, we've been in Dubai for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys, okay, so brief thing, Nita is the wife of one of our pastors in the church that I go to. So did you guys just walk in and started working with fellowship, or have you guys, like, worked somewhere else before working in fellowship?
Yeah. So my husband was working in one of the churches in Nairobi, and then the lead pastor of the church we go to, fellowship, heard about him from our pastor and was like, we actually need this person on our team, and that's how we came to Dubai.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm really glad about that. And you said, so now you're just transitioning into something else, like from being a full-time mom, and then now how's that looking like for you? So,
like a backstory to where I've been, 7 years coming into Dubai, did not have a job. Like high capacity individual, was working in Nairobi, and then you come and I'm like, what am I going to do with my time? The industry here is completely different. The culture, the context, everything. And I had to start from scratch, and unfortunately was not able to get a job, and waited, and then began to do things on the side, like as a freelancer. So I started writing courses geared to women, and then COVID hit. At the height of COVID, I offered one of my courses to women in the diaspora, and that was amazing. And then a year before that, I had gotten my first child. So the sense of isolation, the sense of just, being thrown into a culture that's not my own, feeling isolated and lonely with no community around me, because I'm very introverted, so I'm not the kind of person who's just going to knock at your door and be like, hi.
It's a funny thing. People think that people who are multifaceted and do a lot of things, they think we're extroverts.
Yeah.
But to be honest, we are the most introverted people you could ever think of, because in our place of like solitude, we produce so many things. Like
Exactly.
I produce the best when I am like away from people and I can hear myself think.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily, we're not necessarily out there, people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I produced my first course. I offered it to some women, and then another course like
Wow.
6 months later. And I think for me, God was just showing me that, I have you here as a stay-at-home parent, but that doesn't mean that everything about you has to die or dies, and I think that's the
Yeah.
idea that I had in my mind. I used to think that being a stay-at-home parent was, I would not be able to pursue. And reality
just
is,
all about the kids and, and all
but the
those
reality
things.
is when you have little children, it takes a lot of your energy, a lot of your emotions and capacity and all these things. So I've learned to just go with the season that I'm in. And I think as my children have grown older, the Lord has allowed me to, take more ground and the journals and the course that I offered last year at Fellowship towards women leadership. That was the name of the course. Leadership was the name of the course.
I did do that
And,
course,
you
actually.
really? Nice.
And I
Nice.
think who was leading? I think maybe it was Kathy, and she was like,
yeah.
"Oh, Nita is the one who actually wrote this course, and
Yeah.
it was amazing." Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm really really excited about it, like all you're doing, and the journals. I really love that. So I actually saw you and this journal, I think a few weeks ago at WLN.
Yes.
And when I shouldn't be name dropping, but when they talked about it and I had you like show the journal and talk a little bit about it, I was like, I definitely have to get more into it, because I'm someone, I really love journaling. I feel like it's a big part of a woman's journey.
Yeah.
Like I know men do journal, but I think as women, because we think a lot, because we do a lot of things, like it's good for you to have a prayer journal where you're even talking to God and writing down your thoughts and all these things. It helps you to center yourself and even in your faith journey with God. So I was like, I really wanted to have you to talk a little bit about the journal, but I just want to know, how has it been like transitioning from a stay-at-home mom and now you're working for the church full-time? Okay, now you have a full-time job. So like even like discerning God's voice, is this what the Lord wants me to do? Does he want me to go full-time into career right now? What about my kids? Or maybe sometimes you may think about those things. Or what about so many other things that would have happened? Like how has that journey been? Like how did you like feel like the Lord was leading you, that this is what I want you to do right now? How has that been?
I think it for me was the little steps, because God knows that I really love my children and I want to be with them. I'm like the kind of person, like I'm not extroverted, so that means that I am inward looking. And I like my little family. I love them so much. And so I think for me, just knowing where my daughters are at every moment, hearing them say, oh, my day was like this at the playground. This boy, recently, my little daughter was like, this boy spat on me. And I'm like,
Oh
what?
my God.
And those are the things that I love to hear, that I'm involved in their life and I'm as a present mommy. And so for me, it was little steps. And I think the grace of God is that he doesn't just throw us out into the deep, as in, especially for me, he knows me. I would resist. I'd be like, nope, I am not going to work. I am not going to do this. I am comfortable, and not comfortable, but I am okay with just doing like the creative stuff that God has given me. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of work juggling those two. So it was little steps. It was leadership, the course leadership. It made me have to work like around the clock to get that material out for the women at Fellowship. So that was like preparation. And I guess that's the thing with God. There is a preparation season. And sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes we just think that we're doing like the mundane and the little things that don't make sense. But God is actually preparing us. So we need to be faithful in every season that we find ourselves. So I mean, I applied for the job. It wasn't first glance. It wasn't what I would apply for. I'm creative, so I'd think music or, but then when I read the job description again, I was like, this is exactly what I've been doing at Binti.
Oh, wow.
And this is, Binti, by the way, is the movement that I started the height of COVID. And I was like, this is actually it. I'm just going to be doing it at a larger scale. And I invited that. And I said, Lord, I'm going to say yes to it. And one of the things I told him was, if this job is for me, Lord, you will open the doors. If it's not for me, Lord, you will shut them. And that prayer is something that he has answered faithfully through the years. And in fact, just 6 months earlier on, I had gone into an interview process and I had prayed the same prayer, and the Lord just shut down every access to that other job.
But he does that. He's gonna be like,
he's
nope,
so
this
faithful.
is not for you.
He's so faithful, and I find myself here working from 9 to 5, and having the Lord having given me like a soft landing, because I'm not working in the office every day. I am allowed to work from home. So for me, it was a soft landing. And I guess my prayer to him was, Lord, you know that I love my family. You know that I want to be there for them. Give me something that will honor you and will honor my family in the space that I'm in. And he answered me.
That's so beautiful.
Gloriously.
I think in everything that you said, I could only hear like obedience. I was obedient to the Lord. I leaned in when it was time for preparation. And even though you didn't know he was preparing you for something, you just like followed what he was telling you to do in the moment. And just how you talked about like doing the mundane, I think that's something that people dismiss a lot. Like you waking up and doing those little things, the little things that you do to build up to the bigger one day. Like you don't just wake up and be, the person that you want to be. You need to act it so you can actually live it out at the end of the day. So I really love that you said that. And just tell us a little bit about your newest journal. I really want to hear all about that. What it's about, like how it came about. Just tell us a little bit about it.
So this product called A Mother's Journal, it sprang from, first of all, the leadership journal. And then I think the Lord is so gracious, because he was like, why don't you like expand your thinking in terms of what you can, produce, what you can create and even give to women. And so I was like, it's rather obvious, being a mom and being in the place that I'm in, what can I give to other moms that would encourage them and would help them along their journey? Because motherhood is not easy. Just being a parent in general, a present parent, and I guess I need to put that as so I started to create it, and as I began to create it, I was like, what do I want to see in this journal? And I thought about having check-in pages that talk about my story of keeping plants. I'm a plant mom as well. And just talking about these stories about, keeping cactuses, keeping snake plants that died. And then recently I learned that snake plants are the hardest plants to kill. And I killed one. I'm like, thank you.
Oh, wow, Nita. I have to clap for you at this point. She actually did it.
Yeah, I did it. And so it's just like a light-hearted stories that talk about different seasons of my life and sharing that with other women, and then nudging them to just look at their lives in a very light-hearted moment, in light-hearted, aspect, and then what do you learn from that? And so this is what the journal is about. And it also has affirmations on every page of
that's
the
beautiful.
book.
And I really love that you did this specifically for the mom. I know we can all use it. I know I can use it.
Yes.
I'll be a mom one day anyways. But I feel like God makes us go through certain seasons. Like whatever you're going through in your life, whatever it might look like, or whatever season you're in, it is for a reason and it's for someone else. Like you have learned what you've learned in motherhood. You've seen how it has been to be a stay-at-home mom. You've prioritized your family. You've done all these things. And God made you go through those things to have you do this, which could actually help someone else, like in one particular point or the other. So I feel like I was just hearing you say that, and it was just coming to my head, like for whatever seasons we might be going, like whatever we're going through right now, it might be for someone else, and it might be for a greater purpose and something that's really bigger than us most of the time. So I really love that you said that. And maybe just an encouragement for someone who is like listening, who is maybe going through maybe a transition with career, with family, with relationships, and they're just trying to navigate the whole thing, and they're like, is the Lord really speaking to me? Is this his opportunity? Because sometimes it might not be his door, and we just want to do it because our flesh wants to do it, or it's because it's what we want. So maybe someone who's trying to navigate all these changes, like what would you tell them? And what would you tell a mom who's also trying to prioritize their family and just so many other things?
I think for the first one, it would be just have the courage to lean into God, and to stay when he tells you to stay back, and to launch when he tells you to launch back, because that has been my story. It has been, like you said earlier, it has been little steps of obedience that got me this far. But God needs to trust us with the little things. And so, are you trustworthy?
Are you trustworthy? I like that. Like, I think the Lord has been teaching me something lately. He's like, you're asking for more, but are you stewarding what I have given you already? Like, we want so many things. We want to do the big things or whatever it is. But then what we have in our hands, how are we taking care of them? Are you managing your time right? Are you taking care of the people in your life first before you ask for more people? Are you even in the career that you're in or in the office that you're in? How are you shining your light there before you're... So it's really been something, and I love that you said that. And maybe just for like a new mom. For some reason, I've been getting a lot of mom friends lately.
Is it a sign?
Lord Jesus, anytime now. But then, like, I feel like I sat in a baby shower last week, and I just heard all these moms talking about how hard it is to be a mom, and at the same time, the joy of it. So I feel like it's a little bit bittersweet, and just what encouragement can you give to a mom out there who is like maybe, you know, trying to figure out the season?
I think for me, my heart really goes out to especially new moms. It's especially if you're out of your home country, you will not have the support that you would. I guess for me, speaking from my own, experience. So the thing is, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, even though you've changed like 100 diapers in a day. Because I think that where for me, it tripped me. I'd be like, God, I feel like I am just doing the mundane over. It's like repeat every morning. And it can get tiring. It can get really, really tiring. And you forget the joy of the person that, that is right in front of you, that little baby. So it's just not to give up. Just not to give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your mental health. Keep checking on yourself. If you feel off, reach out to your community.
That's true. And just speaking a little bit about community, like how important do you think, like what role do you think it plays in all these things that we've talked about? Like we've talked about changing jobs and how new that season can look like, and just like just navigating that. How do you, what do you think community's role is in all of that?
It's huge. As a Christian, we always want to think this way, but this way the Lord requires us to, he wants us to be in community. So some of the things that I've come into, I would not have been able to come into without that community. He made the way, but it was people who saw little things in me that they were like, we then called them out. And if it weren't for that community, I wouldn't be here, So I think for me, it is paramount to have community. And it doesn't have to be like 20 people. Again, I am an introvert. So for me, community is 2 people. I'm like, this is my community. So just having people who you're accountable to. And having people who can speak into you and who you are okay wearing your heart on your sleeve. I think that's the point.
I think that's beautiful. And like how do you feel like it changes as you grow? Because I feel like community when I was a teenager doesn't look like what it is in my 20s. And so I was not always big on big circles. Like I had like little bundle of friends, like not too much, but then you would normally know so many people, but then you have just a little people who really know you. So I just had like that little small one, but as you grow, like the dynamics are changing, and people are moving, like people are getting married, people are getting careers here and there, so people are busy. Like how, like, just speak to the young people right now. Praise the Lord.
I had a million friends when I was in my 20s, and then obviously that's an exaggeration, but someone told me recently, as you're getting older, it's like your friends are in a bus. You're in a bus, all of you. Think about it that way. You're all in a bus. And as you reach different stages of your life, they come out the bus, So that's how it is. Community changes over different seasons. God allows people to come into your life and come out of your life. There are people who are not necessarily going to walk into the next season of your life with you, because they've done what God needed them to do in this season, and being able to hold people lightly, and that for me has been something that I have learned along the way. Don't hold people too strongly. Don't do it, because when the moment that they need to leave, and people will leave, allow them, give them the room to move on. So that you're not heartbroken every time that happens. That
happens. I think one thing that the Holy Spirit has been reminding me lately, like, especially when you have friends that all of you are chasing the same thing, like we're chasing God. So even if my friend is leaving, even if we'll not be in close proximity proximity anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know that wherever she is doing the work of the Father, and I'm doing the work of the Father, and wherever we meet.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm not holding on to them because what they were supposed to do here is done. The season is over. So I'm letting them go there wherever they're going to go and be a blessing somewhere else. And I think like that's really what it has been getting me through the 20s, because like the circle is dropping as I go, like it's drop, and I feel like it's gonna drop a little bit more.
No, it will.
Yeah, and sometimes it might be scary, but then like what you said, people come in seasons, and sometimes it's for a reason, sometimes it's to teach you something. And there are some friends that have come into my life and have helped me so much with purpose, with vision. We've done business together, and they left. And some of them were people that helped me out with my career. Like, so I feel like you're right, like in seasons and in times, people will come and people will go, and the thing is, we just have to always learn what we need to learn in that season. Like, I feel like when you don't learn it, you miss out on it. And it's even with everything in our lives, if you're not learning what God is teaching you in a particular season, you will just miss out on it. And then you might even keep repeating the same thing until you learn what you need to learn.
Something that has just come to my mind about transition is the way you leave one position or one season really impacts how you go into the next one.
That's true.
Yeah. So just be mindful. I don't know who's listening, and you know, this can be helpful too. Don't leave the season don't leave badly. Don't leave badly. Don't leave relationships badly.
Yeah.
You know,
because you might just walk in on them somewhere else.
Do not. You know, honor God as you're living. If it's an organization that you're leaving, honor God. Yeah. If it's someone you're leaving, honor God, and come into the next season, because I think God watches how we do this, how we relate with people. God is watching. Yeah. He's watching how we are living one season. Can He again go back to that word of trust? Can He trust you with
the next one?
The next one. I think it all matters how we do that in between.
I love that you said that, because we live in Dubai. And I know it's very different from where we're coming from, but I think there's a trend of something I've seen, how people leave where they work. Some people leave like really bad reputations. Like they're giving resignation letters in a very wrong way. So I feel like it's not very ethical to do that. And how you leave that one will determine a lot of things after that. And even how you step into the next job and how you relate to the people there. And you never know, maybe the CEO knows the CEO of the place you're going into. Yeah. So like, I always tell people, like, just leave that workplace, just leave it well. Like, be good to the people. I always say it's not it won't kill you to say good morning sometimes. Like, where I work now, it's hard for me, because I'm like, I'll be good morning, everyone, good morning. And then so people are like, And then they say good morning to you when they want. And I'm like, it's just 2 words. You're not going to die. Yeah. And personally, I am a morning person when it comes to waking up. But I am not a peachy morning person. Like, if I wake up, I take time before I like, whatever it is, I have to either do something or read before I can like really be myself in the morning. And it's like at 10 or at 11, that's when my mind gets to the fact that, I'm up. But I still try my best to be like, oh, hi, good morning. And then some people are just like, I'm just like, it's not going
to say hi.
Because I just feel like no matter how we feel, sometimes just going out of your way to just like put a smile on someone else's face will even elevate your own day, and it will do something else to you. You know,
this morning I actually was reminded of the scripture, like Jesus' words. You know, he told his disciples and those who are listening to him, you know, don't be kind to those who are kind to you. Greet those who are, even your enemies. Yeah, exactly. Be kind to them, Don't just love those who are in your circle. Love those people who are outside the circle. So for me, it would be bless, release, especially if there's a situation where you're leaving an organization or a group of people and it's ended badly, because sometimes it just ends badly. And God sometimes will allow us to have those bad endings so that we can leave. Because if we didn't have those bad endings, we would stay on. And God is like, come on, I need you to move. He's been speaking, but you're holding on to something.
Oh my God.
And I think one of the things I am learning is to be able to say, I bless you. I bless you. I forgive you. I release you. There's no room. I keep telling myself that there's no room for unforgiveness in the glory of God. And that's where I want to be. I want to live in the presence of God. So if God is saying there's no room for unforgiveness and bitterness here, then I better get rid of all that stuff from my heart.
And I feel like just to leave this one before we we round off, I think it is a conscious thing you need to keep doing. You need to keep saying that to yourself, because if there's something I know about the human mind, it forgets. Yeah. Like sometimes you will forget and you will hold on to a little bit of unforgiveness, and you don't even realize it, but you're just like not forgiving someone. So you need to consciously remind yourself that there is no room for bitterness in me. I have to forgive. I have to let go. It's something that, if possible, tell yourself all the time, because it's like an affirmation. You have to keep telling yourself, so your system will get used to it in a way that unforgiveness will not live in you, and you can actually go through life in a better way. And if it's in a way that the Lord forces you to leave, I'm telling you, there will still be another way that maybe you guys can redeem yourselves at the end, but then you just needed to leave in that season. And I totally do understand that. A few months ago, I lost my job, but for a good 6 months, God had been telling me, leave. Like, it was so bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing because I'm just like,
I know. Like, now I can laugh about it, but in the moment I was like, Lord, why? But it was really hard on me. Like, everyone, even my friends, the people that I had worked with also, and then some really, really close people that knew whatever I was going through, they were like, leave that place. It was like so many confirmations and so many things, but I just didn't leave. I was trying to find a backup plan, then I would leave. But then God was just telling me to go out there and trust him. But like, the job just went like in one day. The next day I stopped working. It was hard. But now that I look back, I feel like if God didn't do that, to be honest, I'll still be there right now. And right now I'm in so much rest, and I didn't have that a few months ago. So everything does work out for our good at the end of the day.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, Nita, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I love you. You know, we've been talking, I'm looking at your pink eyeshadow, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Do it.
It's so beautiful. But thank you so much for being here. And guys, tell them where they can find your journal.
That's a good question. On my website, you can reach me at nitamondia.com. And please say hi, pass by. Even if you don't want to buy the journal, just pass by, greet me. I'd like to know where you're from and what your story is.
And she has so many things to offer, actually. So many things. So you can get in touch with her. She's on Instagram.
Yes, I am.
Nita Mondia. So go check it out and just reach out to her.
And you can message me on WhatsApp as well.
That's beautiful. So thank you so much for coming. And guys, I'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.